Ladies and gentlemen, Hex community of all ages, hey, Jake Freedom here, coming to you live from YouTube for this week's HexDekanomics. And in this particular series here, we are going to be going through and constructing decks, constructed decks, that are going to cost $10 or under. Now, that may sound a little low to some players, and that may sound a little high to some other players. And to give you an idea of what a $10 deck is going to consist of, let me just show you an example of some of the top tier decks that were undefeated in the January VIP constructed deck. So if we go over here and we pull up just the first deck that's listed here, played by Fish Feet. If you go through all these cards here that he's got, Giant Mosquito, Extinction, Giant Corpse Fly, Cog Tepital, Thirst, all those cards there, if you price those out in the actual auction house, at today's prices, that deck is going to cost you anywhere between $140 to $143. So just to give you an idea of what we're up against here, trying to make a deck that's $10 or below. Now the reason for doing a deck for $10 or below, there's going to be there are players out there, and you may be one of them, that you just can't afford to buy these types of decks, and you don't know maybe where to turn to or how to go. I mean, granted, there's net decks. So this particular series is just going to be, let's create a fun deck that's $10 or below. That's not really going to be out of the ballpark or the realm of anybody's reaches. Maybe that's going to be something that you can build off of. This particular deck here you can build off of. So I've been experimenting with quite a few decks, and the first one that we come up with here is just a Blood Diamond deck, and it's based off of gaining health. So let's go ahead and take a look at that deck. And this particular deck here, like I said, it's Blood Diamond, and it's based off of gaining health, and that's going to be wrapped around Paladin of the Necropolis here. Okay, so every time you gain health here, each opposing champion loses 1 health. That's going to be the main card we're playing around. Now, granted, he's not the most expensive card in the deck, but he's the main card we're playing around. So in this deck here, we have 10 diamonds, we have 11 blood shards, and then we have 4 shards of retribution. I believe the last time I checked here, I don't remember right offhand, but I think the shards of retribution were right around 20 to 25 platinum, somewhere right around there. So like I said, every card's based around gaining health in one way or another, outside of the adaptable infusion device. And now the adaptable infusion device is basically, if you're shard shorted and you have this particular card in your hand, you can pull it to get a resource out, and then you can sacrifice it for 4 to draw a card. It's the only card draw mechanic we have in the actual game here, in the actual deck. I lied, it's not. We have Bottled Vitae. Bottled Vitae will draw you a card too. These, I think, are the only 2. Bottled Vitae, obviously, is you can put it out for 1, you can sacrifice it for 2, you gain a health, and you gain a charge, and you can draw a card as well. Then we have the Blood Bearer, which is just a simple card here. When it dies, or when another troop dies, you gain 1 health. There it goes again with the gain 1 health. Then we have Life Siphon here, and we have Adamanthian Scrivener, which obviously is whenever a troop enters play under your control, you gain 1 health. And then we have Chimera Guard Officer, which you can exhaust for 1 resource. You can gain 1 health. And then it just felt fitting to put Ivory Pawn in here. Ivory Pawn is not that great of a card, but you can exhaust it for free to gain 1 health. And we have 2 of them, so if you by chance have both of them out there, you can actually deal 2 damage to the opposing champion if you have the Necropolis of the Necropolis out. So then it felt right, since we're gaining health all the time, we might as well throw a couple Righteous Paladins in there, because everybody knows when you gain health, a Righteous Paladin gets a +1/+1 bonus. So why not put him in there? Since we are doing a Blood Diamond deck, might as well put him in there. And then for a little bit of control here, we have Murder. We run 3 murders here. These are just for some creatures that are just going to be super difficult to get rid of. Now, you don't want to use these on really weak creatures, 1/1s, 2/2s. Maybe a 3/3, but your Righteous Paladin should hopefully be up there by that time to be able to deal with that. because the most powerful creature we have base stat wise is going to be the Guardian Angel. Now the Guardian Angel here obviously is she has flight, and when you draw a card you reveal it and you gain health equal to its cost. Again, gaining health to synergize with the Paladin here. The next card we have here is Spearcliff Pegasus. Just a simple card to get up in the air. It is only a 2/1, but you know, it's 3 cost, 2/1, and you gain 2 health. Again, you can deal damage. The next one here is Prophet of Ren. 4 cost, 3/3 is not that great, but with his ability in this particular deck here, when you gain a charge, so every time you lay a resource down, hopefully you're laying resources down every turn, you're going to gain 2 health. Again, you're going to trigger Paladin of the Necropolis here. Next card here, just some more removal, is just Terrible Transfer. It is pretty expensive, but you can deal damage up to the amount of the blood threshold you have, and hopefully you have quite a bit by the time you play this. Who knows? Generally 3 or 4 you have out, you know, so you can deal with a pretty decent sized creature or troop on your opponent's side there. And like I said, the last card here is the Guardian Angel. The most expensive card in this whole deck here, I believe, is the Guardian Angel, and she's really not that expensive. I want to say this deck came in somewhere around $9.70, 75 cents. Now, when I priced these cards, like I said, it was based off the auction house, and I just went by the first page, and then I picked the price that I saw the most of on that first page there. I didn't pick the top one because that's usually the least expensive. I just kind of picked, you know, somewhere in between there on the first page. So if it was like a 30, 35, 35, 35, and a 50, it would be 35 platinum. Somewhere around that range there. So, you know, when I say this is $9.70 and some change, it could be $9.50, it could be up to $9.90. Never should exceed $10 unless for some reason Guardian Angel and Life Siphon really skyrocket. But all these other cards here, being that they're common and uncommon, should never really exceed, you know, the commons should never really exceed the 5 to 6 platinum. I mean, most of these are 4, and the uncommons, you know, anywhere between the 10 to 20 platinum at most. And then let's see here, the champion that we chose here is Gozog. And basically, not basically, his ability is for every 2 charges, you can deal 1 damage to target champion and gain 1 health. So, what can you do with this here? Well, if you have the Paladin of Necropolis out, you can deal 1 damage via your charge power. And then, once you gain that health, you will deal another damage via the Paladin of Necropolis. So, it kind of synergizes really well. This whole deck synergizes very well with the Paladin. Which is why we're running 4 of him, so you got to be able to get him out here. He's not unique, so you can have more than 1 of him out. So if you have 2 or 3 of him out there, he's going to deal 3 damage for every health you gain. So you can see where the amount of damage can certainly increase. So yeah, one thing I haven't done yet. I've only played this deck here against the computer, and what I want from you guys here is when I create these decks, would you like me to play against the computer, and would you like me to play against an actual player to see how they do? You know, you let me know. I just don't know where to go from there. Like I said, this is a brand new series. It's something we're going to try out. I asked the community last weekend for some ideas, and there were some ideas thrown out there. Granted, they were really good ideas, and this idea kind of spawned off of some of those. Not that the ideas were bad that anybody suggested. This is just one that kind of spawned off, and if people like it, you know, we'll continue to do it. Like I said, not everybody's going to be in the realm of wanting to run a $10 deck, and there might be some people out there that say, hey, yeah, the $10 deck idea is kind of cool. I think it's kind of a fun deal, just to see what you can create for $10, because let me tell you, when you get into some of those more expensive rares and more expensive legendaries, it becomes really difficult to figure out what you're going to put in your deck to fill out the 60 card minimum there. There's been a couple times where I've come across, I'm like, I'm running a little more resources than I'd really like to, just because I can't afford to put anything else in there. I got one deck that will debut in the future that's right at $9.99, and that one has a few more resources than I'd like, but is actually a pretty fun deck to play. And this one here itself is actually pretty fun. Once you get Necropolis out there, and also if you have like Adamantium Scrivener and the Righteous Paladin out there, it's super fun to play. You know, because you're always your deck is always interacting with the board state somehow, or the champion somehow. So it's pretty fun. So yeah, so that's this week's here, $10 deck or below. You guys let me know what you think about this deck. And again, like I said, this deck here, it's not going to be tier 1. We got to get real. I mean, you look at those tier 1 decks, I mean, like I said, they're $140 decks. This is just a basic entry-level deck, but it could be something that you could purchase if you're looking for some type of deck to play that has some, you know, fun characteristics with it outside of the starter decks that you get from Cryptozoic when you first get into the game. And it could be something you can build off of. You know, whether or not, you know, you use all the cards or you swap them all out or change it all up, it doesn't matter. This is completely up to you guys. But this, you know, I feel this is fun. This is a fun deck to play. It's very interactive, you know, and it's, like I said, it's something you can possibly build off there. So that is this week's $10 deck or below. If you liked the video, go ahead and be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to let me know something about the deck, or, you know, whatever you want, go ahead and leave a comment down below. If you want to see more of these videos, be sure to click subscribe down below, and we'll have another video for you soon.